So my name is Ian Smith. I am a senior at UIU. I'm from Hudsonville, Michigan, which is like Grand Rapids, Michigan. Kind of found UIU, actually, I should say UIU found me, because I had never heard of it until I heard from Coach Knock, reached out, and Coach Hoskins, and just encouraged me many times to at least give it a look and come check it out. And met with Coach Hoskins in his office and left feeling really wanted, really like I could come there and be important and be kind of special. For me, there was a ton of thought and prayer into like, what do I do? So it was, do I want to go back home where I'm comfortable, or do I want to kind of take another leap and move to Iowa, which I never thought that I would be.
Meeting with the coaches and President Duffy put me at rest, right? So I knew this was the right place for Ian to be, was at Upper Iowa.
My name's Noah.
My name's Kenny.
And we were roommates of Ian Smith, and we were also his teammates. Me and Kenny became really good friends with Ian after he transferred in from his JUCO down to Miami. Spring ball, we all got really close. Hanging out all the time, we were always together.
My name is Heath Parling, and I'm an assistant football coach here at Upper Iowa. When I first got here, I was coaching the wide receiver, so Ian was in my position group, so got to know him pretty well pretty quickly. Just kind of remember him, even from day one, sort of being kind of a leader in that group.
I actually had some problems with my neck during spring ball. So I sat out a couple practices, did a ton of strength stuff with Rook.
Name is Matt Ruckert. I'm the Associate AD for Sports Medicine here at Upper Iowa. When Ian came to us, he was a transfer football player. I'd been working with football for the last few years, so one of my duties was to kind of get to know our transfers and get a history on them so we could go into spring ball, hopefully full go and not have any issues. We were definitely headed in that direction when Ian started to have some neck pain. Not anything unusual that we see in the spring. It went from pain on his right side, then maybe a couple days later he had pain on his left side, and we could never really pinpoint exactly what was going on.
And each day my neck just kind of started to get worse and worse, so that's kind of when it got really bad.
I remember him coming off the field after a play and finally just taking his helmet off, being like, okay, my neck might be sore, it's football and all that, but this is something different. From there, I think it was pretty quickly that, you know, Rook and the training staff and the team doctors and stuff took a look at it and figured out that it was something a lot more serious going on that was not a football related thing at all.
The MRI shows that they definitely need to do more testing because it's on the side of my neck and it's in between my C1 and C3 vertebrae, and where you should have nice little squares that light up as your spine, my second one's just gone. And there's a giant tumor that's visibly taken over.
We were all sitting in the kitchen one night. He brought us all in. It was us two and Tanner, and then he just let us know they did a scan on his neck or whatever, found out he had a tumor. But that night that was hard. We kind of just sat in the kitchen forever that night. I felt like it just seemed like forever.
The more tests that you get done, the more you know, but the more you know, the worse it kind of got. And so not only we had to go in and get these biopsies to figure out what it was. And Maddie was in Grand Rapids working and had kind of played around with the idea, do I want to move to Iowa? And it was as soon as it was there's something wrong. Maddie was there, she drove out, she put her goals and the things she was working towards on hold without any questions and got in the car and drove out and was there. So, and then she was there the whole 10 months. My doctor that I had is actually, he's incredible. He's one of 10, I think, doctors in the world that are certified in both tumor and spinal surgeries. And I had both, obviously, so it was just another God thing that I had such a amazing, smart doctor. But he actually called me once, as soon as he got the diagnosis. He was giving a speech in California, and he called me at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and was like, "I'm so sorry, but I don't want you to sit and wonder anymore. Here's what it is, and it's Ewing sarcoma, and we're gonna set up something as soon as I get back to meet with you, and we're gonna take care of it."
Getting that news, it just kind of stops everything. It as a caregiver, it makes us go from how are we going to handle this situation to how is that person doing? Like I can't do anything about the diagnosis at this point, but I can sure help out the individual. So I wanted to make sure that we were all on board to give Ian any type of support that we could.
On September 14, I was going to go in super early, and they were going to have to do an 8-hour-long surgery, and they didn't think that they were going to be able to pull the tumor out, but the goal was going to be to stabilize your spine and then fuse it together so that you're not in any danger. They were actually able to come in and cut up the tumor a little bit and pull most of it out, which was just incredible because they didn't think that they were going to be able to do that at all. That wasn't the goal. I mean, we went through pages and pages of things that could have gone poorly, and not a single one of them did. So I'm incredibly thankful for that, and getting parts of the tumor out was just a huge answer to prayers. UIU actually worked really well with me because I believe that I was supposed to be in person, and we flipped the classes to be online because we had no idea what it was going to be like. My advisor was just incredibly helpful because I didn't know how to deal with it either. I didn't know what I was allowed to ask for, and I'm not the type of person to really ask for help, but I needed help. So I fell behind really quickly, and she just helped me develop a plan. Like, we don't expect you to be able to do this at all, but let's try to make this situation as successful as we can make it.
All of a sudden you have to call someone and say, "My kid can't finish this session, and I need help withdrawing for medical purposes or any purpose." You need somebody who's going to answer that phone. You need somebody who's not going to hear the crackle in your voice and run the opposite direction, because it's hard. And the staff at Upper Iowa, they took the phone call. They answered the emails.
President Duffy, like at the time, was just, he reached out and he would call me like nonstop, which was awesome because there were times that he understood I couldn't answer the phone. Like, there were just times I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the capacity, but he would constantly remind me like, "Hey, we're here, whatever you need, we can figure it out with you, we can work with you. This and none of us are familiar with either, but we can figure it out."
Mentally, I would say it took a hit on all of us in the house.
For sure.
And when he started to, go up to Mayo for his treatments and to like start the process of chemo and whatnot, I just remember the first night that he came home and he didn't have any hair was the night that it started to really show. And I broke down in tears that night, I'm not gonna lie. It was something that I wasn't prepared for that year. None of us were prepared for, none of us expected it. So it definitely, it took a turn, and we were all just there for Ian. Like, we were doing whatever we could possibly to help Ian, whether it was helping with the dog, because he did end up getting a dog named Stitch. Stitch was there quite a bit for Ian. Puppies can mean a lot to a lot of people, and I know, Stitch being there really helped him get through what he was going through, as well as me, Kenny, and Tanner.
About around week 3 is when stuff started to get kind of bad. So maybe week 2, President Duffy came up with his wife, and he's like, "We're buying you guys Chick-fil-A." And he showed up, him and his wife, on the doorstep with Chick-fil-A ready to eat and talk, and they hung out for a couple hours, and they made the drive all the way up to Rochester to meet us during that time. So that was incredible. For me, school was a great distraction. Not always great distraction maybe, but it was a distraction, and I couldn't play football, and that's what I love to do. Everything physical that I loved was taken away, so I had to pick something. And growing in my knowledge and continuing other goals that I had was just the only way I could do it.
From our perspective, it was tough because we were losing a teammate for Ian. That was 110 guys that he doesn't see anymore at all. So myself, I wanted to let him know, like, we didn't forget about him.
I was at a point now at the start of the second semester where I couldn't be around people because my immune system was just so compromised. I couldn't see people. So Coach Pauling had offered, like, hey, let us bring you dinner, or let us come visit with you, and it was like, I want to, but I can't. We were just really isolated. That was it. So having the texts and the phone calls, they were super little things, but it was reminders that, like, hey, the world's continuing to move forward, but we haven't forgot about you. I'm super thankful to have Rook there. Rook was amazing through it all because he knew that there was an issue that we couldn't see. Nobody was expecting it to be that, but he sat for hours and hours and just over the course of weeks and just talked with me.
I think things happen, sometimes for a reason or two people, and in that, it's very unfortunate. Never want this for anybody, but Ian was the strong person that could deal with something like this. He never tried to be the tough guy that always had to put on a face. He was always very open, very honest, and I think that helped him out a lot because it gave us an opportunity to help him.
There isn't another community, I think, in America that's like Upper Iowa. We all are a family, we all rally, and I think it was a good thing, that he was here and we were all able to help in our own ways, even if we weren't there with him, if that makes sense. And I know there are times where he says, coming back to Fayette can be hard for him sometimes, and I completely understand that. But I just think with everyone that was here, being able to rally and be the community that we were, it definitely helped him. It helped Maddie, get through the battle that they were going through, and it's something that I'm very glad that I was able to see and kind of help with, and being able to help Ian. So, yeah.
His support system was awesome, right? His girlfriend is amazing, and his parents and his teammates and roommates, because all those people's lives changed too. That's a big point, I think, that is important for everyone to see. But then also just his positive mentality and outlook through it all can be the thing that other people should be able to take, that is inspiring from his story that dealt with a lot of crap.
One of the things that stands out just with the Smith family, and all of them, they're very, very religious and praise a lot of praising God. I think that was a big thing and helped him get through to be able to still be here today and fight and get back to normal. Without the man up there, who knows where he'd be.
He's able to continue his education at Upper Iowa University. We're able to do that in an organized manner because somebody answered the phone, because somebody answered the email, because they dug in when it was hard, answered the questions. And you don't get that at every university. And as a parent, that's pretty special. Pretty something to walk out of and be thankful for.
Really, having him transfer here is a blessing. It's one of those, you never, when someone new comes, you never expect to be so close with somebody, and then you end up finding a best friend or someone close that you can talk to the rest of your lives. Especially through the stuff that he had to go through, you know, I feel like it's a bond that it's always going to be there.
Definitely a lifelong friend. He's going to be one of my groomsmen at my wedding, that's for sure. So I've only known him for 2 years. So from the pictures that I have seen, he's doing very well, healthy. He's up and active and all that stuff. And
got his hair back.
He's got his hair back, and he's finishing his classes online right now. And there's a chance he might be able to walk with us, you know, in May, in the spring, and that'd be
crazy.
That would be awesome. Like, I don't think there's nothing else in the world I would want. And all three of us, all four of us, to be able to walk, you know, in May and kind of just have that moment together and be like, we did it. We all finally did it.
I'm pretty proud of you.
Thanks.
And I always cry, no matter what.
We know.